Welcome to Discovering the Wellness Formula. I'm Ashley Glantz.
And I'm Dustin Messick, and we are both registered dietitian nutritionists. We're here to promote wellness through the lens of nutrition and so much more, helping you navigate the journey by bridging the gap between reliable information and misinformation.
Together, we'll provide you with a clear blueprint of knowledge and actionable steps to support your health and well-being.
And here's our disclaimer. The information provided on this podcast is for informational purposes only and is not intended as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition or health concerns.
Our podcast, Discovering the Wellness Formula, dives into all domains of health, whether it's discussing mental health strategies, nutrition tips, fitness approaches, or exploring how relationships and personal growth contribute to our overall well-being. We aim to make wellness more accessible and inclusive for everyone.
Today on Discovering the Wellness Formula, we're joined with Dr. Wendy Kreider, a master E-certified chiropractor and passionate advocate for the body's innate ability to heal itself. Dr. Wendy's path to chiropractic care began with a deeply personal story. Struggling with chronic headaches in her mid-20s, she found lasting relief through chiropractic adjustments. This experience ignited a lifelong curiosity about natural healing, leading her to explore nutrition, wellness, and ultimately a major career change. Before becoming a doctor of chiropractic, Dr. Wendy worked as a social worker in public assistance and nursing home settings, giving her a unique lens on how pain and poor health impact quality of life. She graduated from Cleveland Chiropractic College in Los Angeles in 2004 and opened her own practice just a year later. But her journey didn't stop there. While in chiropractic school, Dr. Wendy discovered NetworkSpinal, a gentle yet transformative technique developed by Dr. Donny Epstein. Through years of study and practice, she has reached the highest certification level in NetworkSpinal and now dedicates her work to helping others access the healing potential within their own bodies. So you first sought out chiropractic care for chronic headaches. Can you walk us through that moment and what shifted for you after just 2 weeks of treatment, Wendy?
I had had car accidents earlier, like 3 years earlier, and all of a sudden, I realized I was having headaches like every day that were getting to the point where I felt like, I didn't even want to work. Like I wanted to go home and lay down every day and realized that this was interfering with my life. And, one of my friends suggested chiropractic care. And this was after I had gone to doctors and they had diagnosed me with TMJ, temporal mandibular joint dysfunction. And at that time in the 80s, like their response was, well, you take Valium because it's a stress problem. Like you're not taking on stress very well. And so I didn't want to do that. And so I went ahead and was asking around, and my friend said chiropractic care. And so I went to the chiropractor, and within 2 weeks of doing adjustments, he had me coming in 3 times a week. I could tell like my headaches were gone. Like I didn't feel like I needed to lie down in the middle of the afternoon. I didn't feel like I didn't have any energy anymore. And I was feeling so much better. So that was like a revolution to me, like about what chiropractic was and how it could help change things in your life.
Wow. So at this point, do you still have that diagnosis of TMSJ?
TMJ. I don't know
TMJ.
Because I don't seek care for that specifically because it's not an issue in my life most of the time. But I do believe my dentist said that I probably have it.
Wow. So that your doctors were probably like, wow, chiropractic is a treatment for TMJ.
Well, not really. The medical doctors don't really look at it that way. They were just like, oh, well, you're doing better, so that's what counts. And that was the 80s. The 80s, they were doing surgery on people's jaws who had severe TMJ. And yes, it was one of those things that they no longer do because it didn't work out so well. So at that time, I was just really grateful that I found another solution for it.
Wow, that is incredible to just be able to manage your symptoms, though, through obviously chiropractic care and different modalities. Again, super nice to meet you, Dr. Wendy. Really excited to have you. I loved hearing that you had a full career in social work before pivoting to chiropractic. What was that transition like for you personally and professionally?
I knew that like what I always want to do as a career is to give back and help other people. So I knew that I wanted to do something else to do that. And I had been a social worker and public assistance and in nursing homes, and realized that there's just like only so much you can do in that capacity for people. And what I was doing was very valuable. However, felt like there was more that I could do. I wasn't satisfied always with the results of that. And so I decided, like, I had met a woman chiropractor who was doing what I thought I wanted to do with chiropractic, and she was an inspiration that I could go back to school, I could do something different. And so I started on my journey to go to chiropractic college, which, it was a stretch. I was in my late 30s at that time, so it was a stretch. I was married, to go to school, devote myself full time to a graduate doctorate program. However, like, I was able to do it because I was so inspired by, the desire to do that kind of work. And, I have to say that I found my passion in life once I started doing chiropractic, and I'm really, really grateful. And so that kind of energy is what pushed me through the school and able to get to the other side, get my degree, and also start a business, because those are two very separate things.
That's really, really inspiring. I love that. I'm also this is a second career for myself as a registered dietitian. I went back to school in my late 20s, early 30s, and dove down the whole world of wellness. So I really appreciate you saying that was also similar paths and that you had someone in your life that inspired you. And I feel very similar. So appreciate you sharing that.
Thank you.
So, what drew you to natural healing modalities like chiropractic care? I know you kind of talked already a little bit about the TMJ and the headaches that you had, but is there anything else that you would say that kind of really drew you into this other treatment modality?
Well, just the fact that, I feel like a lot of things that people suffer from as far as pain, chronic pain, things that interfere with their energy in their life, that has to do with the medical doctors don't know what to do about. At this point, I feel like medical doctors often, their only answer is to prescribe something. And, that's not necessarily an answer that I wanted to have. I didn't want to put, like, they had, I said, they had said Valium, like, okay, this was the 80s. They didn't have all the drugs that they have now. So that was their answer. And, I knew that Valium was a highly addictive drug that altered your moods and how you were throughout your day. And I was like, no, I don't want to take that. That's not, an answer to this problem for me. So then I started seeking other, ways. And once I understood chiropractic worked naturally through the body's ability to heal, I started looking into nutrition. I used to work at health food stores, cooking, vegetarianism, clean eating, just different kinds of answers to things. And so I've done all kinds of different modalities, not just chiropractic and network spinal, but also acupuncture, Reiki, different kinds of healing, nutrition, that I felt has really helped me be very healthy throughout the years.
Something that's interesting about chiropractic is it sounds like it's like through the adjustments, there's like reconnection of your body's natural like life force. And it almost sounds like there's like an overlap in the overall goal as what acupuncture is trying to achieve. Would you agree with that, or would you say that's like slightly different?
What's different? Well, okay, I'm not an acupuncturist, so just want to clarify. I don't know exactly. I haven't had the education they've had, but what I feel is different is chiropractic. We're taught in the Western medicine, and acupunctures, of course, are taught in the Eastern medicine way of looking at the body. And what's different, what I feel the main purpose of chiropractic is to help your nervous system, which is spurs on your life force, right? It is your life force to be able to work better throughout your body and support all the functions of the body, physical, mental, emotional. And so acupuncture, I know that they have their own way of looking at it and aligning the energy, so that is similar, but I don't think it's exactly the same. And it depends on your intention. Is your intention to get rid of pain, or is your intention to help the body feel better, work better, and the person live better all the time?
Definitely appreciate you sharing that. And I just learned this recently, but also for our listeners who are not familiar, chiropractic care was established first in 1895, and spinal manipulation is now extensively studied, we know. However, network spinal analysis is a relatively new approach. And I understand that it was developed in, I believe, the 80s by Dr. Donny Epstein, like Dustin was saying. Can you tell us what network spinal analysis is and how it's different from traditional chiropractic adjustments?
Network spinal is a gentler approach to chiropractic care. And there's many things that are different about it, but what it does is it's also an energy work as well as a chiropractic adjustment. And so it works on relieving tension in your nervous system as well as boosting your levels of energy and finding coherence between all the energy levels so that your body will work. And like I said, it's not just your physical, it's your mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical will work at its best ability. And one of the things that I, have always really loved about the network spinal that drew me to it is they don't, like traditional chiropractic and medicine of all ways, they look at this is what's wrong. So we got to focus on what's wrong and we have to fix it. And with the network spinal, we find the areas in the spine that are open and are flowing, and that the life force and energy is flowing in your spine, and we expand that. So instead of looking for what doesn't work, we're looking for what does work and bringing more of that into the body. And so that to me is like the major difference in the approach and the intention of the practitioner, and how the healing occurs within the person is bringing more of what works into it.
That's a really beautiful approach, being able to really leverage what's going well in our bodies. Is it similar, just for my own clarification, is it similar to like Reiki, or is there some sort of Reiki like involved in that?
Well, it's only similar in the fact that it's energy, right? That we're working energy. But in
Right.
network spinal, we're actually touching the body. So there is adjustments made on the body with very light touches. And it's very intentional in our approach and in our assessment of what's happening in each individual. So again, like I'm not a Reiki practitioner, so I can't tell you all the ins and outs.
Yeah.
I've never been trained in that. But, for network spinal, we are chiropractors. We do like intentionally look for, this is like where we want to work, see what happens, and where the goal is going to be. And so I'm not sure if Reiki does that or not, but I believe it's more specific.
That's incredible.
I believe Reiki is more like they tap into like universal energy, where I don't know if this is the energy component, but there was that research that was published that was called the NetworkSpinal wave as a
Right.
central pattern generator. That was published in 2016 in the Journal of Alternative and Complementary Medicine. But that word, like network spinal wave, it almost seems like that could be almost like energetic or like motion up your spine.
Well, it is, and it has been uniquely studied, and it is a unique wave that pattern that they haven't found anywhere else. So that's what's so exciting about the network spinal wave. Like I said, they've studied it however they study, energy waves, like through mathematics and different things to find this out. And it's exciting because what it does is the first wave we see in network is a respiratory wave. So we'll see that that you'll breathe throughout your whole body, not just like a shallow breath, but throughout your whole body. And that's one thing that we look forward to see, that the body is like receiving the care and, releasing tension. Because always when you're breathing, you're releasing tension. So, but then there's this network spinal wave that we specifically do at certain times of, we call the network adjustment and entrainment, because you're entraining everything in your body to work together, basically. And so when that happens, you will see vibrations like throughout the spine. It's like a sound vibrational wave that goes through the body, and different people react to it differently. Some people you'll see more movement, some people it's just very, very subtle, but it's actually like rocking the spine as it goes up and down the spine. And they found that, it has healing qualities and different things, sort of similar like when you're studying like a dream state versus a wake state versus like a daydreaming state. So it brings that energy and is able to help the body and your energy and your nervous system, like have a new strategy to work within whatever's happening for you.
That's awesome. It sounds like an incredible holistic whole person approach for the body.
It is. It is.
So you mentioned experiencing a transformation through network spinal. What did that transformation look like for you? And you could also speak to some of the clients you've worked with if you want.
For me, like I was in chiropractic school when I discovered network spinal. And so I had it done on me. I wasn't really a believer in it, and then I had it done on me, and I I kept taking deep breaths every time this practitioner would touch me, and I was just like, "Oh wow, like what's going on in my body that I'm responding in this way?" And so then I, became passionate about learning the network spinal, and part of that is like receiving the care. So I started seeing chiropractor who does the network spinal up there in Los Angeles regularly. And one of the first things, like for me, was like I didn't really notice. Sometimes you don't notice things within yourself, and you have to ask your friends. So I started asking my friends. I was like, after like 3 months of care, I was like, "Do you notice anything different about me?" And what they said was, well, all you used to talk about was, oh my God, I have this test, and oh my God, I got to study for this, and blah, 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 blah. And they say, and you don't do that so much anymore. You're like not as worried or anxious about how it's all going to get done anymore. And so that was like a big revelation for me. I was like, oh, wow, like it's released some of my focus, and my energy isn't always on, oh my God, I can't do that. It's too much. It became more of a focus of, yeah, like I'll just get it done. So we don't have to like worry about that all the time. And so to me, like, I don't, getting through chiropractic school, I feel like it, probably helped me so much and saved me through that situation. And then just in my life, like I've gotten rid of pain that I thought was chronic, like it just like left, right? And also my perspective on life, and I continue to study under Donald Epstein and his different modalities that he teaches. And so, I've learned like so much more about how to raise my own energy, how to, go forward in life, believe in my goals, shift my thinking about a lot of things through that. As far as my practice members, ultimately the most exciting miracle that I've ever seen in chiropractic was I got the opportunity, a special experience and amazing miracle that I have seen through chiropractic care and the NetworkSpinal is that I had an opportunity to work on a 6-year-old girl who was in a vegetative state. And I had seen her parents previously, so they knew me as a chiropractor. And when she ended up with meningitis and then in a vegetative state, they brought her home and they were like, "What can you do?" And all I knew is that chiropractic works on your nervous system. She was obviously having a nervous system problem, being in a vegetative state, and that I should start giving the care. So I started going to her house twice a week and adjusting her. And I went to her house for months doing that. She also had physical therapists, occupational therapists, different people working for her with her. And it was like at different times, like you would slowly see like the light start coming on in her eyes, and that she was like, instead of just dead weight, like when we would move her, she would be like helping a little bit. And so it took 10 months. And then one day it was like she just woke up and started talking. But like I said, I saw little signs, and I was inspired by like a lot of chiropractors, and they're just like, you open up the nervous system, which is what we do with the adjustments, and especially the ones on the neck that go to the brain, and you will see the miracle, the light will turn on. And that's what I felt like happened, to this young girl. And so she started talking, and they called me and they were like, she's talking, she needs to do like a bunch of physical therapy and stuff because she's been in a wheelchair for 10 months, but she came back, like, and as far as I know, like, she lived a normal life. Like, after that, she had missed a year of school, so she had to get back in school and do all those things. But I don't think she has any lasting problems. But the nervous system, came out of its vegetative state, and she was able to walk, talk, and be a normal little girl again and proceed with her life. And I was just like, that, that's it. Like, I was like, if I don't ever just anyone else again, like, I have accomplished something in my life. So it was just so beautiful to see, that I know that I was a big part of that, and the chiropractic care was a big part of like turning on the light and getting her nervous system working again. And so that was definitely the biggest, most beautiful miracle for me in chiropractic. I've seen a lot of just different people who, especially the doctors, will say, "We don't know what's wrong with you. We think it's all in your head." And then they've come to me, and I've been able to diagnose them with different things and do the chiropractic adjustments and the network spinal and watch them change and get rid of that problem and not have that condition anymore, dictating their lives. Like people on disability who've been able to go back to work, because of the chiropractic care that I've given them. So, and I've also, I forgot to write this in when I was answering the questions, but I don't know. I think Dustin's heard some of my stories about how I went to Guatemala and I went to Africa on what they call the chiropractic missions. And definitely seen like miracles, like people who were having blurry vision have their vision come back. People who couldn't hear in one ear have their hearing come back. Like things like that happened from the chiropractic adjustments that we gave them. So, I mean, I just think chiropractic, we work on the nervous system. The nervous system controls everything. it has so much to give to help people heal from things.
These are incredible, life-changing stories. And I imagine, like you were saying, that these were moments in your career that you were like, wow, this is why I do what I do. And I love doing what I do. Literally changing people's lives and improving the quality of lives. I mean, there's no better gift than that. And I also love that you mentioned your own personal story with just it impacting your mental and emotional health with stress management, anxiety, things like that. I was just kind of joking with you. I was like, wow, I need that for myself, for my stress and anxiety. So what incredible stories of how you've impacted lives with this amazing modality. And really, given that network spinal analysis is still a relatively new field, how do you see research evolving over time?
Well, Donny Epstein has a foundation, and I believe it's called the Energetic Foundation. And his website is epienergetics.com, and there's information on there. And he raises money for research because he's really, really into research. And he also researches, like I said, the study Dustin was talking about on the wave and its unique properties. They've also done studies that have just where they adjusted at UC Irvine. They did a study of, I believe it was like 8,000 people that got like network spinal care over a year, and they kept doing like quality of life surveys on them to see like what was changing in their lives. And within like 3 months, their pain that they were complaining about, whether it was back pain, headaches, even eczema, like different conditions on your skin and your body, mostly related to stress, like most of that went away. But they kept saying that their quality of life kept improving after 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year, of just like that they found themselves wanting to exercise, wanting to eat healthier, wanting to make better choices so that their quality of life, kept improving. And so that's like one of the coolest things about network spinal is it really contributes to your quality of life and what choices you're going to make without like consciously saying, okay, now I have to make a decision to do this diet, right? It's like we're just making better choices because you're feeling better, your nervous system is in coherence, your energy is in coherence, you want to make better choices in life, which is really cool. But they've also studied heart rate variability and all kinds of things that the network spinal wave affects. And I think that research is available on the Epienergetics website, or at least where to find the research would be available there.
It's incredible. Thank you so much for sharing all of that, Dr. Wendy. That is very interesting. And I love kind of hearing about the upcoming research in your guys' field.
The research that I've learned more and more about over the years is your immune system. And what they didn't realize is a lot of your immune system works, it's in your nervous system, so it's part of your nervous system. So when we're supporting your nervous system, then the immune system works better. And they've actually done research on people's immune system post chiropractic adjustments that show that you actually generate more like of the white blood cells and the different cells that can fight off the toxins after chiropractic adjustments. So, I mean, I say like what we do like supports the immune system, but also the big research shows a lot of the immune system is in your digestive system. So, that's where you guys come in as nutritionists, like helping people to be able to eat better and nurture their digestive system. But also, chiropractic care does that too. One of the biggest, you could sort of joke it's a side effect, is that a lot of times people come to me for their back pain or their headaches or whatever. And then they'll say, like my digestion is so much better. Like it's so much more regular. I don't feel bloated anymore. I was having problems like with constipation or whatever. And they're like, it's changed. And that's like a very common thing that happens with the chiropractic care.
It's really incredible learning about the connection between the nervous system and our immune system. And you also mentioned earlier your own personal experience with how this approach helped your emotional and mental health as well. How do you feel like network spinal approach has really, well, it does support emotional and energetic healing?
Number one things that I like can almost guarantee that people are going to tell me when they treat care is that they feel more relaxed and less tension and less anxiety after they've been, and less depression often after they've been getting network spinal care for a while. And so, I know that that's like one of the main reasons like that people seek out network spinal care, because we're all living in a very stressful, defensive world at this time. And it's not getting any better, so like what can we do to support ourselves through that? And so that's one of the big things that I see all the time with that. But part of it is that network wave we were talking about. It like is sort of like, it helps shift your perspective, like see things differently. And like, I don't know about you guys, but I get super anxious if I feel like I have no choices. And one of the things that Network Spinal does, it helps you like in these different energy fields and start feeling more energy rich and feeling like there's more, seeing more choices and seeing more perspectives on life. And then that helps, break out of that box and feel more free and less anxiety in life. So it's like, for me, it's like really helped me see that, you know, dreams can come true, follow your goals. Don't let the fears stop you. Tap into the fact that we're all connected versus like separatism and fear of each other. So there's so many different things, but the that research study that I mentioned at UC Irvine in the 90s that was done showed that people had less depression, less anxiety, less tension. Like that was some of the big things, more happiness and satisfaction in the life choices they were making.
All right, so you've also participated in Donny Epstein's alchemy training. Can you tell us more about that and how it's shaped your approach to healing?
Well, his alchemy training is, it's not just for doctors of chiropractic. So a lot of things I've done, like the Master E training in the Network Spinal, that is about like how I'm caring for other people, how I'm, delivering the care of Network Spinal. And the alchemy is for your own personal heal. It's not just for healing, it's how you live your life. And what it does is it teaches you how to have your own personal formula that improves your energetic state. So, or shifts your energetic state. I shouldn't say improve, because there's times when you're going to be energy neutral, you're going to be energy poor, and then there's times when you're going to be like high neutral, where you get a lot done, and energy rich, where things are just coming to you, right? And he teaches you how to find your own formula. I mean, it's a year-long program that he does a lot of, you study material that's online, that you have access to online, and then you have 2 live programs that you go to over the year, where you participate with other people. And in between, one of the big focuses of Donald Epstein's works is to work with other people. So he has us get together in groups that he calls pods, and you're like with 3 or 4 people, and you meet like every week or every 2 weeks online, usually like in a Zoom call, and encourage each other, talk about the lessons, what you learned, have other people help you work through like what works for you. And so like that is a great learning experience, like for myself, to be able to find, that I still use to this day, like a formula of like different things that can help boost me up and boost my energy, I can, as being able to do it on myself, then I can see like in my practice members, like what's going on with their energy state. Are they internally motivated? Are they externally motivated? There's what things can I do that will help them have the healing shifts and changes, that they're asking for. So, that personal experience helps me to be able to, recognize in other people and give back in that way too.
It sounds like you're really practicing what you preach and really immersing yourself in the training so that you can show up as the best version of yourself for your patients, but also spread that wealth of energy and knowledge to your patients. And I think that's fantastic. And when we think about healing in general, a lot of people might think of the healing journey as kind of a linear journey, but how do you really support your patients in understanding that healing isn't linear?
Well, for me, I think the best thing is for them to experience the network spinal and the fact that things are going to change and it's not always linear, because that's what it took for me to understand that concept, right? Because basically in our society, the way we think about things is like, do this, do this, do this, do this. It's going to lead to this result. And, one of the things that they've learned, like in physics, like with chaos theory and all this other different things, is that that's not necessarily the way energy and the universe and our lives work, right? That there'll be like, this pivotal moment, whether it's the thing that caused the pain in your life, there'll be a pivotal moment like that you had in childhood, but you're still feeling the pain in your adulthood. Like, so that's, linear, and it's linear, but it's not linear, because like, why as you're 40 years old are you still like feeling something that happened as a child, right? So then you can also heal in that way. And the best, like I said, I don't know how to explain it really except through experience of actually going back and like doing something today that changes the energy. It doesn't change what happened, right? What happened, but it changed the energy around what happens going forward in your life, and can change you and how you respond to things going forward to your life. And people study, they can study physics, they can, chaos theory is not chaos. We know now, we know that things aren't linear, everything's like a motion, a vibration. Like, there's so many things that you can learn about it. And I think it's just being open-minded and, allowing that within yourself, because a huge part of healing is awareness. And so being aware of these things and being open and experiencing. We were talking earlier about life force. You can call it, in chiropractic, we call it innate intelligence, your body's innate intelligence to heal itself. Your energy, your nervous system, we keep that flowing to the best of the ability, and it knows what to do.
That is beautiful. And throughout this amazing conversation, you've been sharing a lot of just kind of great tips and secrets, about healing and wellness overall. But if you had to describe your personal wellness formula, what would that look like?
Chiropractic care and network spinal like are huge for me, like to and for me, like embracing the idea that my body has the ability to heal itself has been huge for me. And a big thing like is movement, right? Movement and exercise means so much in the human body, and that's what so many people are lacking today in the way we live our lives and the way we work and things like that. And it's everything. Like, even they've done studies that say that exercise works as well on depression as antidepressant medicines. So just like knowing that and making a choice, like, if you feel stuck in your thinking, go for a walk, right? that movement of your body also moves your mind. So that, like, my wellness formula is I go see a network spinal doctor always. It has nothing to do with how I feel physically. Getting, my care, and also taking care of your mental and emotional health. So those are huge things. And awareness of where I'm at and what I need to change, right? We keep improving. That's what I love about, like, well, now I know you, Ashley, but like Dustin is like, he's always improving, like wanting to improve and change and grow. And that's like huge part of feeling good about life and yourself, right?
What do you wish most people understood about the body's ability to heal itself?
Well, I wish most people understood that the body did have the ability to heal itself, and so that they would, instead of seeking invasive procedures, which, like, in my mind includes taking toxic medication, that they can seek other ways that they have within themselves to already heal, whether it's like, like I said, what you guys do with the nutrition, or, like choices of exercise, or sometimes just a different shift in perspective can let go of a lot of pain. And that's like one thing, like a lot of pain isn't necessarily physical, right? So that's like something that people need to, open their mind about the connection between, mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual that we all have, so that they can address all the things within themselves. And that there are people out there that will help them, like myself.
That is beautiful. I think very well said, having that awareness, but also knowing that we do have our own wellness formulas within each and every one of us, and that there are different things that we can explore within ourselves to heal and to really explore that. And Dr. Wendy, for our listeners interested in exploring care with you and just learning a little bit more about network spinal analysis, where can they find you?
My practice is located in Whittier, California, and you can look me up. Like, if you look up network spinal, Google it. I should come up, like, if you Google network spinal Whittier. But also, I have this great newly revised website, drwendykreider.com, that you can also has a way to connect with me, to contact me, make an appointment. I even have, they can make appointments online. Dustin, you can make appointments online now with me. So, yeah, if they just reach out through the website and contact me, I'll reach back to them and talk to them about, or you, about what I can do. But I am offering special for people. If they want to come in, I can offer them like half price off my regular visit, if they commit to more visits in their own wellness and healing. I'm doing that right now. So, like, I am open to talking to people and bringing new people into my practice. I want as many people as we can feeling as best we can and having the most energy for life.
That's fantastic. And obviously increasing like accessibility sounds like it's something that's you're really passionate about. And we are so grateful for you joining us on today's episode of Discovering the Wellness Formula. Your story is such a powerful reminder that healing often begins with listening to our bodies. And your journey from from chronic pain to chiropractic mastery shows us how the path to wellness isn't linear, but it is deeply personal, purposeful, and
Oh,
transformative.
that's very well said. Thank you, Ashley.
Oh, thank you. And for our amazing listeners, if today's conversation has sparked something in you, be sure to share this episode with all your friends and family. Leave a review. Find Dr. Wendy's website and get some healing. It really just allows us to continue these beautiful, powerful stories and bring them to light. And please don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and keep discovering your own wellness formula. Our podcast, Discovering the Wellness Formula, dives into all domains of health, whether it's discussing mental health strategies, nutrition tips, fitness approaches, or exploring how relationships and personal growth contribute to our overall well-being. We aim to make wellness more accessible and inclusive for everyone.